Hello, I am Michelle with two L's,
And I'm Natalie the Red.
and we are Force of Light Entertainment, and we are here to give you our review of Halloween Ends, the grand finale to what started in 1978. And in fact,
No small job.
no. And in fact, our first time watching, actually Natalie had seen it, but it was my first time watching, but she's in the reaction with us or with me. It's going to be coming out probably next week, so be on the lookout for that. So I just saw the first movie for the first time a couple weeks ago, right before this came out, and I was like, you know what? Let's watch this. And I know that this is the end of a trilogy, but people have I know enough that it was fine. It was fine to watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to really know that much. They kind of show you, I think, what you needed to know from the previous two movies and this third one. But with that in mind, I do have having just recently watched the 78, I can compare them quite a bit since it's very fresh in my mind. And I will say this too before we get into this. We will give you very general, vague review that's non-spoiler, and then we'll get into a little more spoilers, but we'll give you fair warning before we get into spoiler territory. So the way we do this is we give you our initial thoughts of the movie. Natalie, what were your initial thoughts of Halloween Ends? You need me to go?
No, I'm just
Okay.
cross. It wasn't very good.
I would use the words forgettable.
Yeah.
This is the type movie that in about 24 hours, your brain has probably forgot what it saw.
There was more comedy than there were scares for me.
There really were.
And I'm not sure that's what they were going for.
There really were. And again, having just watched the 1978, the Halloween, I thought that was a genuinely well-made horror movie.
Yeah.
Like I think, I understand why it was a classic and why it sparked more movies to come.
And the classic music and for
Yes.
the time period it was in.
But I mean, comparing that to this, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's nowhere near that. I'm trying to think anything else we can say without getting into spoilers. It's kind of, I would say this, I feel kind of a bait and switch. Like if you're coming for Michael Myers, you're probably going to be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
With this movie, which is kind of why
it's a little Michael light.
It is like it's kind of like he makes some cameos in his movie. So that's kind of I think without getting into spoilers, that's kind of what we can say.
That's really all we can say.
Yeah, like it
happened. The movie happened.
And I will say this: if you're thinking about watching it, because I know this has such a huge following.
Yeah.
If you really just feel you have to see it in theaters, I'm going to recommend a matinee.
Right.
If not, it's on Peacock. That's where we watched it, and I'm really feel good about that decision.
Glad that we didn't spend the money at the theater.
Yeah, so that's it for our non-spoiler section of this. So now let's get into some spoilers. Okay, so I want to say this about the opening scene, because the opening scene,
I do remember that,
is very important for horror movies. They all have this big opening. Now, is it a horrific opening scene? Absolutely.
But did you feel that it was horrific as the viewer?
Mm-mm.
Not really.
No, and here's what I was going to say. It doesn't fit a slasher opening scene.
Right, it was more tragic accident.
Yes, and it was honestly the oddest opening scene I've ever witnessed in a slasher movie.
And the way the boy went the way the boy went flying from the door is a bit of comedy as well.
It was not the best opening scene, but
not the most well played.
But let's get into the real what makes this movie not so good. So this movie, of course, is Halloween Ends. And so people are here to watch Jamie Lee Curtis. Her character is Laurie. Is that her name?
I think her name's Laurie, yeah.
And we're supposed to see her and Michael Myers go head to head, one final battle, the battle to end all battles between these two. This feud that has been going on for a really long time.
Years. Wait a minute. 88, 98, 2008. 2018. Yeah, more than 40 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. And basically this movie gives you about 5 minutes of what it promises you.
Yeah, that's true. Because you spend a lot of time with this new character.
That's what I was going to get into.
A lot of time.
With this Corey character. And basically, like at the beginning of his story, Corey is the best accidental serial killer I've ever seen.
Because he just like, oops, he did it again. You know, like it just keeps happening.
He just keeps accidentally killing people until he does it. Until he
decides to make it intentional.
Until he has this moment of truth where he stares into the eyes of
evil.
Michael Myers. And Michael has compassion on Corey.
He said, I see so much of myself in you.
And then, let's also get to the fact that I guess Michael has been living in the sewage, like Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was
a good rat.
For the last 4 years.
Yeah.
He's just been chilling down there. And according to that old guy, the homeless guy that Corey accidentally kills, he's just
like the homeless guy, my dad, who's just totally cool with like, you just take people to, oh, cool, he's doing his thing again tonight. Like, no issue.
Like, and Michael Myers just been chilling down there for 4 years, I guess. But anyways, so we really get the story about Corey. And that's what I'm saying, a bait and switch. Who asked for the story about Corey? No one is here to watch this movie to watch Corey's story.
And then... you know, Jamie Lee Curtis, or Laurie, I guess I should say. So her granddaughter in the movie, and then there gets to be quite a bit of attention too to like this
their
relationship, but like they just met, but then they're like arguing like they've been together for 2 years. It's very strange.
Well, and can we just say this, ladies?
Like it's not earned at all. So much is not earned, I guess, is the problem.
Like so many red flags are going off with Corey. Like red flag, red flag. I mean, it's like the grand finale of a fireworks show of red flags
like
that are being shot off.
The street was lined like Independence Day, but just with red flags. And she just was like, hello, just not seeing
She's
them.
just like, I'm in this though. Even though
She's like, I met him yesterday and this is my man. I'm gonna stand by him.
I'm gonna stand by this crazy person. Like I really am the psychotic guy. I'll stand by you.
She saw a future.
And you think again, being whose granddaughter she is, she would be extra cautious if she saw some psychoticness in somebody. But she's like, nah, it'll be okay.
We've all been there.
But basically what makes this movie here's the thing. The whole story with Corey could have been its own movie.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, it kind of was.
It really was. Yeah. And it's just like, again, no one is watching Halloween Ends to see Corey's story. No one cares about Corey in this movie.
I mean, you could work him into the storyline, but maybe not take up so much of the movie.
And then basically, and then at the end, like him and Michael kill together. I mean, it was kind of weird.
Father and son.
It was a very odd situation with the whole Corey story.
But then Michael kills Corey?
Well, I guess, even though Corey, I feel like should have died 10 times before that.
Well, but people have those abilities. You should know that.
But yeah, so you get the Corey story throughout most of this movie, and you get such very little Michael. And even when you do get Michael, again, because I've just watched the 78 movie, here's the thing. Michael was scarier in 78 than he is in 2022, because there's something.
He's lost his edge.
He has lost his edge. Really, the writers have lost their edge.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Because there's something about, too, that 78 movie, some of the kills Michaels has, what makes them scary is not that it shows a lot of blood or stuff like that.
Which I think it's sometimes what you're saying. It's more effective.
Yes.
Yeah.
What makes it effective was how much he played with the people, with his prey, basically. Like they really, it allows the suspension to be built and built and built.
I think you have to do some of that if you want there to be a payoff and if you want there to be a reaction from the audience.
Yes, where in this, like all of a sudden Michael's not been in like the first hour and a half of the movie, and all of a sudden he's like killing people again.
And sure, when violence happens suddenly, as the viewer, you're going to be like, oh, okay. But it's not earned. And it cheapens it.
Yeah, my point is it wasn't as horrifying because it's just like, oh, well, Michael just came out of nowhere and just killed that lady. Oh, okay. Now, my point is nothing. Yeah, nothing was built up. Like it was just kind of like, oh, it happened. Yeah, it did just feel random.
Like there was a slash.
And in the original movie, nothing felt random with Michael, even though technically it kind of was. He just kind of picks this group of people he wants to horrify, I guess.
Well, he was younger then. He was sprightly and full of energy.
Now he's like, I just got to get this over with.
Now he's like, I've got a knife. I see a person. Let's party.
Yeah. So then you do basically, too, the end between him and Jamie Lee Curtis's character. I could have been basically, this movie should have been him stalking her and kind of resembling back to the first movie of him literally stalking her. It should just been the two of them most of this movie. But even Jamie Lee Curtis takes the backseat in this movie for Corey.
Yeah.
And
why?
again, no one wants Corey.
Who wants to take a back seat for Corey?
We want Jamie Lee Curtis and we want Michael Myers. Like, that's what we want. We want what we got 5 minutes of, which was probably the most enjoyable 5 minutes of the movie, but it was just tacked on to the Corey movie. So okay. So
can we talk about the ending?
Yeah, let's get in the ending.
You want to go there?
Okay, we can go
All
there.
right.
What were you gonna say about it?
Well, it's just I mean, I guess it's good she gets him, but Michelle was saying, and it is, I mean, I guess that's good because I haven't seen all the Halloween movies, but it's like she knows he's there. She's just casually strolling through her kitchen. There's like this where it shows her with the camera, like she's just like, it's a regular Tuesday night, you know?
She's just like Michael Myers standing right there, and I'm just going to walk very slowly, calm,
like,
cool, and collectively across into the kitchen.
She's
Come
like,
get me, Michael.
I guess it's the night we're gonna do it tonight. So, and she does. But what really got me was when the granddaughter came in
and broke
and
the
if
arm.
You guys have seen it. It was just so fast that it was comical.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I really, and maybe you're like, oh, well, you've not seen enough movies to have an opinion on this. I actually am happy that she kills him at the end because to me,
some closure.
I like closure, and it makes it feel like, oh, it was all worth it when she kills him at the end. But none of it was earned because the whole movie is about Corey.
And who cares?
So had this movie been written right and it just been like a head-to-head Michael versus Laurie or Jamie Lee Curtis, then the end could have been really epic, like an epic end to this story. But it just kind of felt like it was just kind of fast and like quick and it's over. Because it was just literally tacked on to the Corey movie.
But I guess, like, in the very end, she redeems herself with the townspeople. So that's good. And then when they dispose
of his body.
And can I just say, too, it's like, so just like a horror movie that he's like strapped to the top of their car with like police around, like just like a deer or something. Like,
or like a Christmas tree.
Like a Christmas tree. And the police are just like, standard procedure.
They're like, you got this, girl.
Nothing to see here.
Like, we're just going to let you take over
as
from
the
here.
town watches as they put him into what I imagine is a grinder of some
like
sort.
a grinder, like at a junkyard, basically.
I don't think it was actually a meat grinder, but it got used for some.
No,
meat
it's
grinding.
for like cars and stuff, like at a junkyard.
Because that's what you need for Mr. Myers.
I mean, it was a
successful crush.
Again, I didn't really. Then was cheesy. That whole part with the town following her, everything. It was really cheesy. But again, the main thing with this is that they didn't give what the people came for.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because I would have rather had a really epic finale with these two characters. And it could have been epic, but it wasn't.
Because they're the main draw. And like when your side characters aren't particularly likable or enjoyable to watch or convincing or I could go on.
Yeah.
But, you really need them to pick up some of the slack if you're going to focus so much of the movie on them.
Yeah.
This would be a critique I would have.
So, Natalie, let's rate the movie. And I will say this as far as positive. Jamie Lee Curtis was good in this.
Yeah, she was.
My critique is that we didn't get enough of her and Michael. That's my biggest critique. It wasn't their story as it should have been. It was Corey's story.
We wanted a tango, but we got a waltz.
Yeah.
It's not a good one.
Yeah. So Natalie, let's rate this movie on our level. Of course, 5 being the max hoots you can get of our level of enjoyment. How much did you enjoy this movie?
You know what? I'm going to give it a 1.5 because it did provide some laughs.
Okay. I was going to give it 2 hoots. Yeah, because I was like interested watching this movie.
That's true. Because the worst thing you can be watching a movie,
really
honestly,
bored.
is really bored. And
Yeah.
so even if it's like sometimes really bad, if it keeps your interest, it's like, well, job well done.
Yeah, and I give it, of course, for Jamie Lee Curtis and her performance in this again. This could have been really good, like a
Yeah.
really epic finale. And sadly, it's now just kind of a very forgettable
Forgettable.
movie, is what it is. So I give it two hoots. Natalie gives it 1.5 hoots. But what did you guys think of this movie? Where does it rank?
We weren't shy. You shouldn't be either.
Yeah.
Just let us know in the comments.
Yeah, share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, give the video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right, bye guys.